Ciao guys, Tyriel here, so welcome to the Samsung Odyssey Plus review. In this video I'm gonna go through all the details about the latest and greatest Windows mixed reality headset, and we're gonna understand together if this is the right headset for you, for us, or if this is just something to leave on the shelves. And let's start talking about some specs. The Samsung Odyssey Plus has two AMOLED display 1440 by 1600 resolution that works at 90 and 60 Hz. The FOV is 110 degrees and it uses Fresnel lenses. It has a 60 to 72 range IPD adjustment, integrated audio with AKG spatial audio headphones, dual microphone and volume rocker. Two cameras for inside-out tracking and integrated Bluetooth for the controllers that, by the way, are included in the box. It's all in our plastic and it weighs 594 grams. And with that said, let's start talking about comfort. The Samsung Odyssey Plus uses an Halo-style design that is one that I've very used with the Windows Mixed Reality headset, but it doesn't flip up like all the others do. Now, this is a comfortable device. It's so much more comfortable than the first generation one. It uses paddings that are very squishy on the front and on the back, but are not removable. The only one removable is the face cushion that I really suggest you to remove, because the one included is very stiff and creates a lot of light bleeding. Even if you close it a lot, well, you're always gonna have light bleeding, and unless you really squeeze your head so much that it's gonna start to work, and that's not really what you're looking for. So what I suggest for sure is to go for aftermarket covers. I know that VR cover is working already on something for that. For now I'm using the Oculus Rift one with the velour cover on top, and I have to say that the situation is much more improved. Also, I get closer to the lenses than what you want to do, but we're gonna talk about that later in the vision part of the video. But I also have to say that when you get closer to the lenses, you have a problem with the nose part. It is not as long as before, so if you have a long nose, well, you're gonna notice that probably you're gonna start to hit the place pretty often. Now, it's better than the first generation one because it doesn't close your nose at all like it was doing all the flaps, but it doesn't close much also for light bleeding. So, you know, they kind of didn't learn yet how to make the nose part in the best way. You can notice right away that it is lighter than the first generation, and you can feel it for sure. It's much more comfortable, at least for me. We always had to think about the fact that every time with comfort on the VR headset, it's very difficult to sell, yeah, this is comfortable, this is not, because everyone has a different face, a different shape, a different head, and exactly, we're not all the same. So every VR headset will be different. For you, maybe will be perfect, for me, no. So what I really suggest to do is to watch a lot of reviews, see like the reviewers, see like this is my face, look at that, and so if it fits comfortably on my face and you're similar to me, well, it will fit also on you. Instead, if it doesn't fit well to me, but maybe some other reviewer will fit well, you have your answer there. So don't just stay on just one review, and try to understand that this is just a piece of clothing at the end, because when you wear it, it's like if you're wearing like a hat or you're wearing a sweater. Someone can be comfortable, some not. So it's really up to you. I have to say though that I don't have problem for long session, but after around 2 hours you start to feel the pressure on your forehead, and maybe you want to just get a little pause from gaming. This is the situation. It's not the most comfortable out there for sure. It's not the comfort that we had like with the Vive Pro, and it has actually the same problem that it wobble a lot. The Halo style design, as you can see, wobble, but it's a comfortable device, so I really recommend it for that. And I have to say, yeah, on the comfort, it passed. But of course I didn't forget about you guys with glasses. This is very comfortable, and the expert said that it's actually one of the most comfortable devices out there on the market for glasses, so approved for that. Okay, so talking about visual, the Samsung Odyssey Plus is very particular. We have for the first time, not the first time in history, but for the first time in this new VR reiteration and anti-SDE technology. What is that? It's like a diffuser on top of the screen that makes everything softer and takes rid of the screen door effect. What is the screen door effect? Are all the lines, black lines between the pixels. They're gonna disappear completely. And what is the good thing? Why is more immersive in this way? because many times with low resolution headset you kind of focus on the screen door effect instead of the game itself, and your eyes kind of cross, and that takes out a lot of immersion. Even the things don't look really real, but the screen door effects reminds you every time that you are in a virtual environment. Well, with these, it's gonna help a little more to trick your brain and to feel like you are in a real world. Now, the resolution is the same 1440 by 1600 of the first generation, and also is the same of the Vive Pro. So you're not gonna have a big improvement in readability and stuff like that. That is gonna be exactly the same, if not a little worse. Because of course with this diffuser will bring like some light in the middle, in between the pixels, so in that black area, and everything will look softer, blurrer, and also that will happen to the text. So readability is not much less, but for sure is not as much as the resolution without the diffuser. Now, do I think that this diffuser, this screen makes sense right now in the VR market? Yes, absolutely. I'm really loving it, and I actually use it more than any other headset because it's just my favorite right now. I never seen something more realistic, something more immersive, and that's why, even if I have some flaw in other parts, and I'm gonna talk about that later, by the way, I'm still using that every time as much as I can, because everything will look more real, more realistic. And even if you have the problem on the Fresnel lenses, like the God rays, yes, are still there. The sweet spot is not super big, at least on the vertical part. So when it wobbles, you don't have much problem. And this headset, as I said, will wobble a lot in a fast-paced game. But on the vertical part is kind of limited, so if you get out from the sweet spot, well, you're gonna have some distortion. For that, I really recommend to stay very close to the lenses as much as you can to take rid of it at all. The FOV is 110 degrees, so exactly the same of the first generation headset, and exactly the same of what you're gonna see in the consumer for some while, until the Pimax doesn't really arrive, and the Start VR is 3200, so don't even consider that for now. And of course you're gonna see the Pimax on the channel in the future. But if I have to tell you something about the screen, I think I said it all. There's also a video over here with all the specs about the screen and also the comparison with other headsets, so check them out, and I'm gonna do other videos about that in the future, so subscribe for that. And I have to say that on these, the Samsung Odyssey Plus passed for sure the test. This diffuser makes sense in higher resolution, when before maybe it was just a problem with creating problem in the visual. Now, I think that with this resolution as a base, it's gonna be such an interesting and useful technology in the future for the next VR headset. So on that visual, another pass for the Samsung Odyssey Plus. I have to say that Windows Mixed Reality got very much better in this year. Is pretty much a year from my first video actually that we are talking about Windows Mixed Reality, and everything improved a lot. Now the tracking is much better. I'm not sure if there's orientation of the two cameras in the front that makes the tracking better, but here we're talking about inside-out tracking. So the area where you're gonna be able to move will be like pretty much endless. You can go everywhere if you have a backpack, of course, with inside the laptop, or a backpack PC. If not, you're gonna be with the cable that is just 5 meters, so it's nothing super long. By the way, with Windows Mixed Reality, you're gonna be able to play pretty much everything. You actually have all the store available for you. There's the Windows Mixed Reality store. That's actually the worst because there's not many stuff there and they're not very updated, so I don't really recommend it. You have Steam VR that will work perfectly with every Vive and Oculus game, and you will also have Revive. With that, you're gonna be able to use your Oculus exclusive, all the Oculus games, buy games on the Oculus Store and play with your Windows Mixed Reality. And that is gonna be even better than the Vive for a reason, because in the controllers, you actually have the thumbstick with that, and the trackpad and buttons, so you have everything available for you to emulate all the different controllers out there. Now, the controllers are not the best because are very light and kind of slippery, so it's not super easy to keep the grip. Also, they have the same problem on the strap that I really suggest you to change with some like a Vive Wiimote strap, so you're gonna be able to close it without any problem. Without the clips, you're gonna be able to like lose it very easily. By the way, use the removable batteries that are AA batteries, but I really suggest to go on rechargeable batteries because all these lights around will use a lot of juice. But the batteries that you have to use, by the way, are Ni-Zin battery. So I'm gonna leave the link below so you can able to get the right one, because if you go for SBL or either kind, well, you can have a lot of problem with the tracking and also with the pairing. Now, what's a good thing about the controller and why we're talking about them in this section is because now the Bluetooth is integrated in the device itself. So what does it mean? You don't need a Bluetooth dongle, you don't need to pair it with the computer itself, but it's gonna be paired directly with your headset. Now you can of course change it with any other Windows Mixed Reality controller. I don't know why you should do it, but you can do it because you can go also on manual. But that makes also for the software so much easier to just set up everything. It takes like half a second to set up this device. You just connect the two cables, there's HDMI and USB, and you are pretty much good to go. You don't even have to go through a setup at all. Like you just trace your area and you are in the game. And that's just amazing. And that's why Windows Mixed Reality is so great compared to all the other stuff like Oculus and Vive right now, because the setup is so easy that it's really the first ready consumer product, consumer software for VR, where you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand how to connect it. It's super easy, and for sure it's one of the best opportunity to bring people in VR. Now the tracking still has some limitation because it's gonna work just when you are on site. Now it's actually better and improvement to understand where are your hands outside the field of view. Now, also playing in that, I didn't have many problems, but for sure I prefer to use the Vive trackers or the Oculus Touch in that case. Now, this is the limitation that we have with this headset, but by the way, the tracking is starting to get better, to work much better, where it doesn't get in the way so much, and that's why it's starting to be more and more enjoyable. It's easy to use, it's fast to use, you just connect it and go. With SteamVR you also have an asynchronous reprojection that is very similar to the one on the Oculus Rift, so even if your computer is not the most powerful in the world, you're gonna be able to run every game, even if you have an higher resolution, because it's gonna create just the same frame, the middle between of the two frames that you're rendering. And that's pretty much it. Windows Mixed Reality is starting to make sense. It actually makes sense right now, and I can finally start to recommend it to everyone out there. Now, this is a great headset for that, so totally recommended on the software part as well. Talking about audio, it has integrated audio and spatial audio, so it's great for immersion because you're gonna be able to understand where the sound is coming from in the game, and there's a very nice addition also in competitive games if you're gonna be able to do it with the tracking, but that's another story. And you have the AKG audio. The headphones are comfortable and they lay pretty well on your ears, but be aware that sometimes you have to wear it really in the right way or they're not gonna arrive because they don't have much movement over there. But the audio, I have to say that is an improvement from the first generation, and also the dual microphone is an improvement. People are gonna be able to hear you well, and this is how it sounds directly from the headset. The only thing that I don't really like about the audio is that it's not removable. You're not gonna be able to take out the headphones at all, and that's such a shame, because if you want to use like your favorite headphones, you're not going to be able to do it, and you can't move them so much, so they're gonna be always in the way when you try to use them, even with that included. And there's no headphone jack over there as well, so you're gonna have to use like wireless headphones, or you're gonna have so many cables running through, and it's not ideal at all. And talking about the cable, we have to say that the cable is not removable as well. So one problem will be for the future proof. You're not gonna be able to put wireless unless you like a kind of revolve your cable all around over your face or your neck. It's not removable at all, so don't expect a wireless VR coming to this headset anytime soon, and probably ever. So now let's get to the conclusion. What do I think about the new Samsung Odyssey Plus? Well, I think that this is a great headset for everybody. The tracking is improved. Actually, Windows Mixed Reality, as I said, is now in a good place where it's really attractive. So you can play without any problem everything and really start to enjoy the situation. I'm really getting very attached to this. When I started, I was like, I don't really know about this screen. But then going back to the Vive Pro, going back to the original Vive or the Oculus Rift, you really notice what is the difference and what they have done over here. This is not probably the best visual experience, but it's a choice that you have in a VR world where we have a lot of different headsets and you have to decide which one is the best for you. So if you are very bothered about screen door effect, if you get distracted by it, if it's something that breaks completely your immersion, well, this is gonna be the best VR headset for you available on the market right now. It's just amazing, like you're gonna be super immersed in the VR environment and yeah, you're gonna enjoy it for sure. But if for you it's more important something else, it's more important the tracking, it's more important like having crisp images, even if you have screen door effect, well, probably this is not the choice for you. That's why I can't say like other people are saying this is the best headset out there. No, it's not. Let's don't say bull, blah, blah, blah. This depends completely on you guys. For me, what I think about it is like, yes, I'm gonna keep using it as my primary VR headset because the tracking is okay, the visuals are amazing, and that's exactly what I was looking for, even if I didn't know in a VR headset. And for you, well, gather all what you need, what is important for you, and understand if this is worth $500 or not. For me, it is, and now it's also $300 on Black Friday, so go for it and buy it because this is an amazing product, really. But be aware that some people are gonna just choose for the Vive Pro, some people are gonna go for the first generation, and don't blame them. They have different preferences, and who are you to judge it on them? Okay, and that was my review, guys. I hope it helped. And as always, if you liked the video, like. If you didn't like the video, dislike. Subscribe to the channel for more about VR and tech. And I see you guys in the next video. We're gonna see also other Through the Lenses video very, very soon. So we're gonna be able to understand even better what is this screen compared to the first generation. Thanks for watching again. I see you guys in the next video. Ciao.